Hi, boys and girls. I want to take a look at our DMA for today, so let's go ahead and get started. Remember, we are in week 23, so notice here, this is week 23, day 2, so we're on day 2, which is Tuesday. And let's go ahead and take a look at our very first problem. It says divide the circle into halves. We need to remember what halves are. How many pieces are there in halves? If you said 2, you were correct. Now, we could do this many different ways because when we take a circle and cut it into half, we need to make sure that the two parts are equal or the same amount. Now, if I go across the middle, this would be 1/2 and this would be 1/2. You also can take, as long as you go through the center point, you can go through the middle anywhere in a circle, and each of these parts would be considered half. So you could go down the middle, or you could go across the middle, or anywhere in the middle of this circle would be considered half. Remember to label each one of these parts as one of 2 pieces. These are called unit fractions. It's one of the fractions or one of the parts of the fraction. So we call those unit parts. Repeat it. Right, unit parts or unit fraction. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. It says William ran a total of 14 miles in 7 days. Each day, he ran the same number of miles. How many miles did William run each day? So we know our total. There's a total of 14 miles that he ran over the 7 days. So we need to know how many miles he ran each day to get to that 14. So we know our groups. It's the days. We don't know how many miles he ran each day, but we do know the total miles. So now that we are taking a look at this, we can see that, well, if I'm missing a factor in multiplication, this tells me that I can use division to help find this missing factor. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Back here, remember you need to make sure you're modeling your work. So we're going to take those 14 miles, divide them up between the 7 days, which are the groups. Okay, so day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and finally day 7. So we broke it up into the 7 days. We want to know how many miles each day. Miles each day. So if I take these 14 miles and share them equally between the 7 days, if you know your multiplication facts really well, you would know that 7 times blank equals 14. Well, 7 times, right, 2. So if I didn't know that, I could take these 14 and divide them equally by putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles, 7 miles, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if I take these 14 miles and share them equally between the 7 days, I'm going to have 2 miles each day. So I could put a 2 in here, since I know that each one of those is representing 2 of my miles, and I'm going to put that as my quotient. Remember, that's called your quotient. Everybody say quotient. So 14 is your dividend. That's your total number of objects. In this case, you're talking about the miles. These are my total miles. I'm going to share them equally between the 7 days. I'm going to break it up in between the 7 days. And when I break it up between the 7 days, I'm going to get 2 miles each day. So we could say, I forgot who our person was. We said that this person is William. So we could say William, and everybody's going to write this as part of their response. William ran, and this is a past tense verb. It's an irregular verb because we don't say runned. William ran 2 miles each day because if I divide 14 miles, and these are the total miles, up, if I divide them up between 7 days, you get 2 miles each day. All right, so here is your response. Remember, we're practicing how to write and explain our thinking based on our equation. And then we have a model to help us show our work and give us an idea of how to explain our thinking based on what we've said or done here in our model. So make sure that you have this also written. Let's look at our next problem. Our next problem asks us, how many fourths are there? Well, you'll notice that there are 2 circles here. And each one of those circles is broken up as fourths. Now, each one of these circles is considered one whole. And each whole is broken up into 4 equal pieces. So each one of those is 1/4. So I guess I'm going to have to do it out here on the side because these are hard to write in. And the pens that we have aren't working. So let's do it this way. 1/4 here, 1/4 here, 1/4 here, 1/4 there. So this is 4/4. That is 4/4. So we still have this other whole. This is going to be 5/4. Here's another fourth, that's 6/4. Here's another fourth, that's 7/4. And here's another fourth, that is going to be 8/4. So if I count all my fourths, I have 8/4, and that is the same as 2 whole. Not just 1 whole, but 2 of them. So if I were going to demonstrate this on a number line, I would have 0, 1, 2, and this is why I want you guys to understand that we don't always just stay between 1. This 1 whole is broken up into 4 equal pieces. So this would be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, and then I'm going to break this whole up into fourths also, and this would be 1 1/4, or I can call that 5/4. I can say here's another fourth, so that would be 1 2/4, or 6/4, 7/4, or once I get to 2 whole, I'm at 8/4. So we keep just adding on to the numerator 1 more fourth every time we count another fourth onto the last fourth. Now, like a ruler, we could also say this is 1 1/4, 1 2/4, 1 3/4, 2 whole inches if you were talking about a ruler. Okay, All right, let's take a look at the last problem we have. And our last problem is a time problem. And it says Brianna woke up at 1:10 a.m. and was awake until 1:45. How many minutes was Brianna awake? So you'll notice that the hours that we're focused on, it's still the same hour. We just need to know from 1:10, which is your minutes, to 1:45, how much time has gone by or elapsed or passed. Elapsed or passed. So if you think about a clock, okay, if you think about a clock, and remember, we have our 12, our 6, our 9, our 3, and then I just kind of like fill in the hour numbers in between those. Now, from 1:10, that's where my minute hand would be pointing. From 1:10 to 1:45, that means that the minute hand has gone from here all the way up to here. So I'm not worried about my hour hand because it's still the same hour. But we could count by fives from the 1:10 all the way to the 1:45. So let's go ahead and count by 5 minutes. So from the 2 to the 3, that's 10 to 15, that's 15, that's 5. From the 3 to 4, that would be 10. From the 4 to the 5, that would be 15. To the 6 would be 20. To the 7 would be 25. To the 8 would be another 5 minutes, so that'd be 30. And from the 8 to the 9 would be another 5 minutes, that would be 35. So we can say that she was awake for 35 minutes. 35 minutes that has gone by. So those are our problems for today. Make sure that you check your work. In your discussion today, I want you to think about if I were going to add another hole for 3 hole, how many fourths would I have to have in order to have 3 hole? So think about what's going to happen to this numerator. When I add another hole and I break it up into fourths, how many fourths am I going to have now in 3 hole? So if this is 2 hole, I add another 3rd hole, and how many fourths are there going to be in 3 hole? Let's see what we get. I'll be interested to see how you guys do on that. So see you soon in our small group, or actually whole group today, and have a great Tuesday, guys.